Hello and welcome to the Empower Couples podcast, where here you get modern, non-boring relationship advice for you and your partner to communicate like pros, fight smarter, and stay on the same team no matter the challenge that you face. I'm one of your hosts, Aaron Freeman.
And I'm Jocelyn Freeman, but you all just know us as the Freemans.
And this episode is about 3 things men are being challenged by in marriage right now.
Now, before you think, well, this isn't fair. If this whole episode is going to be about men, what about women? Don't worry. Next week, we're going to cover also what we're hearing from women specifically. So don't worry. We just wanted to focus today on men and what they're expressing.
And I also think it's beneficial. You're going to be on both sides, right? But okay, if you're a female and you clicked on this, I think you clicked on this in part to get an insider into what a spouse or a partner might be feeling.
Yep.
And vice versa. So in either case, I think it's valuable to know what your other partner is going to be experiencing.
Well, not only that, but our hope is that by hearing these, because these are, we get like front row access to relationships on our sessions, and people reveal things to us that they sometimes aren't even aware of because they're going through the motions, they're busy. And then when they pause and talk about it and they start to reveal things to their partner, they're like, oh, that's been under the surface and I haven't had a chance to put language to that, or I haven't had a chance to express it to my partner. And so this is coming from people really digging deeper and saying the things that are easy to put on the back burner because you're just busy during the week.
Mm-hmm. And that does 2 things. That allows you to express what an underlying challenge or feeling is for you. But if you're listening to this about your partner, I think it gives you some, like I said, extra insider information. So hopefully you can reframe what your partner might be going through and why they might be acting in certain ways, because you're like, oh, they're probably experiencing this.
Well, and so they're not alone.
So maybe some more sympathy and empathy.
Sympathy, empathy, and knowing you're not alone. And because sometimes you can hear something from your partner and kind of be like, oh, we must be doing something wrong, or I'm doing something wrong, or you take it personally, right? Whereas when you hear this, whether it's coming, if your partner goes, actually, I really relate to the second one, or I relate to the third one. Number one, you realize they're not alone and you're not alone. Like, this is stuff that so many couples are experiencing, but they don't share about publicly. And so it's easy to think, oh, this is just happening with us.
Okay, one other thing before we go into this, you may have tried to share this, but here's one thing in both this week's episode and next week's, the one about the women's challenges, that when you try to express it, what can easily happen is that it becomes a comparison. And you'll see it more as we go into the specifics. But as one partner starts to share, I'm dissatisfied, or I'm feeling like this is a challenge for me, without the intent on how you're listening to your partner, it will be easy. And we hear this all the time, that they start to share and the partner says, well, do you know how much I'm doing?
Right. Or, yeah, I hear you and I understand you, but let me tell you all the reasons my feeling is worse than yours.
That's right.
And it becomes like you're trying to one up each other and take, because you're taking it personally. So, yeah, that's not what the intent of this episode is.
I know you wanted to go into something personally, and I just think it's something we do as human partners. Not necessarily a one-upsmanship, but it definitely invalidates what they're feeling. And you can't have it be a comparison like, oh, it doesn't make sense you're feeling that way because you know how much I'm doing, or do you know what I've been experiencing? So it does for sure invalidate. So just watch that as you start to express, or you allow for your partner to express, that you're not making this a comparison. This is just what they're feeling.
Exactly. Now, before we go into the 3 things that men are being challenged by, we want to do something fun and that we haven't done maybe ever, and that's to do a giveaway for one of our courses. So if you participate and you are selected, you will get to choose one of our courses that's ranging anywhere from $100 to $300. So pretty awesome. And all you have to do, it takes just a couple minutes or less, right? Is to write a review for our book, The Argument Hangover. Now, of course, you would have to have read at at least a chapter, if not the whole book, and, to make sure you're writing from a place of truth and that you have read it. So please go to Amazon. That's where we're hoping to get more reviews. Go to Amazon, search for The Argument Hangover, order it if you haven't ordered it before, and then write a review and put what's really true for you. We can't wait to read these reviews, and then we will be selecting a winner within the next week to get one of our free courses. So thanks for participating with us, and we can't wait to read what you say about the book.
Yeah, then we'll just post on Instagram the name, and then we'll just be in communication via Instagram there for you to get your course. So thank you for that. And let's dive into these 3 challenges that men are facing. And the first one is, and again, these were all what kind of I heard, right, from mostly our coaching sessions and all of our interactions with couples, and that men were feeling somewhat of a complete absence or just a lack of ability to fill their own cup outside of the home.
And when you say fill their own cup, mean like take care of themselves, do some self-care, do something they really like to do, right?
Yeah, I guess I haven't come up with a better word. I personally don't like self-care for some reason. I don't know, but there are things that fill me up, that give me energy that I just need to do for myself, for my self-confidence, for my mental and emotional health. And this is very similar for many men that, I've come across. And that could be like physical exercise, like going to the gym, or it could be hiking, just something that gets the physical body moving. Then there's also something like getting together with a group of friends. And that was something that a number of men feel they've had to put off or don't get to do anymore for whatever reasons, whatever situations have come up in the relationship recently. And so that's gone to the wayside. And I just want to say that's a key one that gets couples into a conflict. Because let's say I bring up to you, hey, I just been feeling like this lack, this missing, and I really need to get together with some friends. Well, the other partner would say something like,
well, I haven't gotten together with my friends and we have a newborn at home. What are you talking about?
Yeah. So that's exactly what we mean right there, right? Great example. And another example is about participating in a role that is an important part of one's identity. So some examples here, it could just be about work, potentially. It could be just about the way in which you see yourself, a part of your identity, your expression, and that not being something you get to participate in or do much anymore. So those are some of the examples that I heard of, but it all falls under this umbrella of this lack or complete absence of being able to fill one's own cup. To me, what's important is outside the house.
Well, and I think the key thing here is, because that might sound kind of like, okay, Freeman's, that's not like all that deep of something though, right? But when the partner expressed this to the other, it really did feel like a loss to them. Like they were feeling some emptiness. So, okay, yes, it might sound kind of superficial, like, oh, okay, they're not getting to exercise or they're not getting to have time with their friends. But for them, it really felt like I've had to give up part of myself, or I don't get to do what I need from me. It's always, one partner even said, it's always about everyone else and I come last. And that for them felt painful. Mm-hmm. So again, don't listen to this for the superficial thing that's being said. It's beneath the surface how this felt for them was really big. And what they said was, I feel like if I bring this up, like I say, hey, on the weekend, I'd like to talk about being able to go exercise this week. They feared that their partner would just come at them with all the reasons that they can't do it, which would make them feel even more like they come last. Mm-hmm. And so, Aaron, from a male perspective, what do you think is kind of the impact of feeling like you come last?
That you're just not that important. I mean, there's a lot. Self-confidence, self-esteem, the way you see yourself, how you hold yourself, your energy. So if your energy is lower, then it's going to be even lower in the home. And then when that's lower, you'll just have a tendency to be more reactive. So just there's lots of things. Mm-hmm. So those are just the main things around that. So I want to move to the second one, and that's When agreements are missing or broken, so there's already two categories there. I mean, if you've been listening to this podcast long enough, you should be looking to put some agreements in place into those areas where you have emotional triggers or things trigger you or cause conflicts. And if you don't, you should probably go and listen to our web class on the 5 steps to repair after an argument. So we still have that going, by the way. You can go to onlinecouplesworkshops.com/repair to watch that. And we talk about the importance of having agreements. So like I said, in one case, they can be missing. And in another case, one I've been seeing more frequently, or more recently, I should say, is an agreement has been made, but it keeps on getting broken by the partner. And this leads to this emotional flooding and having men react in ways that definitely don't serve the relationship. And it just comes down to it. We end up feeling like we crossed the line. So
if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying, so they feel, the male partner feels like an agreement was set, whatever it's about. Hey, we're going to save this much money every month. Or, hey, we're going to...
The biggest one I'm hearing is the timeout.
Timeout.
Mm-hmm. So, there gets to this place where something is triggered. So like an emotional trigger happens and it's more in the moment. And then sometimes there needs to be, as part of the agreements in the web class, we talk about, hey, I need a pause. I need a timeout right now. And when that has been established as an agreement, but it's not getting honored in the moment, then the other partner keeps on talking to them, keep on trying to force the issue, in this case, the male partner to keep on trying to get to a solution and fix it right now. That is where it becomes an emotional flooding situation. And emotional flooding is when you get completely overwhelmed with emotion.
Mm-hmm. You're like consumed by it.
And it's not just an emotional trigger. It's that you have gone past your threshold.
Yeah. You're not even feeling in control anymore.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's what causes the bigger lashing out type of reactions.
Yeah. So it's interesting, right? Because you can feel this broken agreement, but then there's like, what is it that men are feeling that it hasn't been kept that's leading to the flooding?
Oh, disrespected.
Disrespected.
That's it. Flat out. Yeah.
So it's like, you don't even respect me enough to keep this agreement. Mm-hmm. Here we are. We set this agreement for timeout. I call a timeout. You keep talking to me. Now I feel totally disrespected here.
Yeah. Talking to me is probably a light way to put it.
Okay, yeah. Not just talking to me. You're still yelling at me or chasing me or whatever.
Yeah, just trying to force me to talk after I've already used the phrase or called the timeout, and you're still going, you're still on me. Mm-hmm. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Then that just causes this emotional flooding situation.
Well, and really men, and we talked about this last year when we talked about the 3 needs that men have. So that's a great episode to go listen to. But respect is one of them. It's like a top need for men is to feel respected. Mm-hmm. So anything like this, like you said, if an agreement's not being kept, and that leads to feeling disrespected, it's like a big stab in the heart. I know that sounds dramatic, but it's like one of their main needs is to feel respected. Mm-hmm. So that's big. Okay. So that's the second one. Do you want to go into the third one then?
The third one is not enough recognition for the additional activities that are being done. This might be just because of the season we're in, but I relate to this now being more of a father, and I guess maybe because that's the season that we're in, I found myself in these similar conversations with other fathers, but this is one that gets tricky. So there are certain activities that we have quote unquote picked up that wouldn't have normally been a part of, the daily routine or our roles and responsibilities. For me, it's like I'm doing like all the dishes,
constantly
making
filling my
the
water.
food, filling your water cup, often feeding you. I clean up everything at the end of the night, from blankets being out to pillows. And I know I'm choosing that because I like organization. But so all of it, well, I mean, not all of it, but the majority of it, and that's why I recognize this one, right? But I've heard it from other men. They have picked up sort of some slack, if you will, in some activities that weren't a part of the normal roles and responsibilities, but not feeling like they're getting enough recognition for those. Now, the impact is really more like this, and it was said really well by a client a couple of days ago. He feels like a robot. And so it's not just getting recognition about the activity or the action, although it seems like that. It's really about recognition for the person or the being that we are, that the man is, that the partner is.
Yeah.
And so that's what gets missed.
Yeah, he said that it felt like he was only appreciated for what he did, not for who he was. And there was like this real sadness there for him. Like, am I even seen like a human being to you in a way?
Well, use the word replace too. He's like, if there was a robot that could just be made, it's like no one would miss me.
Yeah.
Just a robot to do these things and I could just be gone.
Yeah. And it was like he wanted to be recognized and seen for like his joy, his humor, you know, his passion. And the other partner was like, well, I saw all those things at the beginning of our relationship, but you're right. I have only been focusing on what you do and not those traits of who you are, and like acknowledging you and recognizing you for your energy and your personality. And yeah, I mean, again, this one is not a comparison because I know some women listening are going,
let me just add that because I was going to say it. This is the other really tricky one, because as we talk about the activities that we've picked up, it's very easy. I've seen, I think, between us, between the other couples, where the other partner's like, really? Because these are all the things I do. So this is a tricky one to not get into a comparison or say like, really, you want to be upset about not getting recognition for all your activities? Well, what about me? And well, what if that wasn't a thing for you? What if you're the other partner and you're like, well, you haven't been missing recognition. Why throw that on the fire? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, what about me getting recognized? Well, if that wasn't a need that you needed fulfilled, why are you now throwing that into the mix?
Yes. So again, these are not to compare. This is just what men are feeling. And the whole goal with these, again, well, I guess there's a few goals. One, for you to know you're not alone if this is one that you resonate with. Two, hopefully it gives you language to something maybe you haven't been able to describe. Like maybe you have been feeling like you haven't been able to feel important and fill your own cup, but you haven't been able to vocalize that because you were like, I don't know what's off. I just feel off. So that's a great thing that we hope you'd take away. But here's the thing, and we hope that you two would be listening to this together, is to be able to share this with each other and have it just be like, totally hear you. Completely understand. Like nothing else, no defense, no yeah buts, no even trying to fix it for the partner. Just totally get it, babe. Like I understand it. I can totally imagine what it's like to feel like you and the position you're in. I want to know more. Thank you for bringing this to my awareness. I'm so glad you shared this with me. Like give your partner the space to express this. Don't take it personally or compare, okay? That's only going to make them close up, right? So we hope this was helpful. We hope it gives you language and that you're not alone in this. Like Aaron mentioned a couple minutes ago, if this is something that is leading to a source of conflict and you haven't watched our free web class on the 5 steps to repair after an argument, go do that. onlinecouplesworkshops.com/repair. Thanks for doing the review in advance, and we can't wait to pick a winner for the giveaway. We love you all, and we'll talk to you next week where we go into the 3 things that women are being challenged by in marriage. And we'll talk to you soon. Much love.